So I'm delighted this afternoon to be with Thierry Lemaire. So Thierry, huge thanks for joining myself. Whether my listeners can join me and Thierry tomorrow, when I say tomorrow, that's the Wandsworth Property Network evening meet, or whether this is the only time you can connect with Thierry, I want to give you as much value as possible. So Thierry, huge thanks for joining myself and huge thanks to my listeners as well.
Thanks,
Now,
Brandon.
Thierry, to most people who know you relatively well, they would know that you've got a love of Citroen 2CV. Um, and you've come to this country about 20 years ago, and it wasn't just about Citroens whatsoever. I know you did if I remember correctly, a degree in Middlesex in marketing, and you're really noted for being one of the forefront leaders, thinkers in trading in the UK. So huge thanks for joining myself. Huge thanks to our listeners as well. How best would you sort of like explore or explain to my listeners in just a few sentences about who you are in terms of property?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I moved into the country 20 years ago. I've been investing now for 14 years. I've been full-time for 12 years. I've initially built a portfolio together with my wife, then been mostly trading, buying for motivated sellers, finding a solution for them, buying the property of them. So build a portfolio, then move on to trading properties. Then 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, with Paul, Tim Rogers, we created and founded the Vincent Group. From there, we also had Harry Paul, who joined us as the fourth director. The key with this business is our passion, what drives us with this is the business is a vehicle for us to fund our foundation. So our foundation, the key is to provide and improve the children's education. So far we've been focusing mostly on the chess in schools. So that's to bring chess into the curriculum, into the school curriculum. We're looking at expanding this into different structures, different ways to help the children with their educations. So over the last few years, our focus has been find projects, get planning on the small projects, build ourselves, or the bigger project, just sell the property with the planning approved onto a bigger developer. Recently, with the uncertainty of the market, over the last 6 months, we've been reviewing our strategy and decided to focus more on shorter term products.
Thierry,
Yeah.
for listeners out there who, let's say, relatively new to property.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just get this right. 14 years ago was the first time you dipped into property investing.
That's right, yeah.
12 years ago, you then went full time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of my listeners out there are thinking, look, full time is a big risk, or it's not what we're looking to do. We're looking to go maybe, part time and then see how it goes. It's, of course, when you go full time, it's completely different to going part time, but many people do stay in the property industry part time for quite a while. What was the seismic shift for you, just very succinctly, of you going from part time to full time? Because when you're full time, that's your complete dedicated profession.
So, well, just slightly to go back a couple of years when I started with my job, I started buying properties at the same time. After a couple of years, I realized that to leave my job, I will need a lot more properties to cover for my salary. So I realized that if actually I sell properties, get enough cash in a saving account, and I get X amount of X amount of month's salary in a saving account, that's my buffer to go full time and try and make the business work.
Did you say how long was your buffer? Or
it ended up being 9 months. So I had 9 months salary in my saving account from the sales of the first few properties I had refurbished and resold. So
Sure.
9 months, that's when I left my job. So it will be different for everyone, obviously. Depends on your risk profile and what your plan is to make it work once you haven't got a job. But I would say as much as possible, keep the job and get the business working. And once you see that you got a pattern, you got a system in place, then you can, and obviously the income is starting to come in, then you can decide to make the big step and get full time.
Would I be right in saying, so the first big step was being an investor, first of all. Second biggest step in your timeline was moving to full time. And the third biggest step, would you say, or one of the biggest steps was connecting with Prab, Tim, and creating the Vincent Group?
That's correct. The third step and the biggest step was actually realizing that, like most people, I was trying to do everything. Well, there's some things I'm terrible at, something I'm great. I will say genius, some people say. So why don't I focus on the things that I'm very good at and let the thing that I really don't enjoy at all or hate doing, let somebody else enjoy doing it. So that's when Tim and Prab and myself realized that we were very complementary. And that's why this is working very well between the four of us together with Harinder. We're very complementary and we're only focusing on the things we enjoy. And that's why we enjoy doing it so much.
I was going to say to you, Thierry, now people listening to you may be thinking, with uncertainty in the market right now in 2018, you know, what's the best way for them to, and we're not giving advice, but what do you consider the best way for you to have your business, your property business, in terms of structure? Can you just elaborate on that for Vincent Group? What's that meant?
Yeah, for us, well, before we were on projects that were 12 to 18 months or even more. With that market, we decided to go for much shorter term. So what I've been doing for the last 14 years, as well as what Tim and Prab have been doing for as much time, is focus on the motivated sellers. So here we're buying property from those motivated sellers at a discount and put them straight back at auction without doing anything to the property. So that's the plan A, sell at auction. If it sells at, let's say, 95% plus of the market value, then that's our plan A. The last couple of months, 2 to 3 months. If it doesn't sell, then we'll try it on the open market. And then if it doesn't sell as is, then we'll refurbish it and sell it. And that will be a 7 months project. So it's a much short-term strategy for us. And we're much more comfortable with this strategy in the current market. That's the main change for us.
Sure. Thierry, just a really short, quick question. Now, if people can't make tomorrow evening, let's say they're preoccupied, how can they connect with you or the Vincent Group?
The best way, they will easily find us on Facebook. That's probably the best way to connect with us. That's one way they're going to, I believe, to see this audio, this video.
Sure.
So they can just comment on the post and get in touch with myself or Prab, Tim, or Harinder.
Sure. I will definitely share this video also on my YouTube channel as well.
Really?
So yeah, so on YouTube and on Twitter as well. So, you know, there's a number of different platforms which I can share. I was going to say, Thierry, is there any final remarks you want to give to my listeners out there, you know, about 2018?
I would say network. Go to lots of property networking events.
Sure.
Ideally, I'd like to do one a week, but I think I'm doing about 3 a month. Just go there, when you're there, be focused, have a purpose to go there. Just don't go to listen to speakers and just go home with a bunch of business cards you don't do anything with. Just go there for a purpose, and then connect with people, share what you're doing, what you're good at, how you can work with people, and keep doing it, and things will start coming your way.
Thierry, you mentioned about networking, so I do have, for my listeners, a number of different meets. I've got my Central London morning meet tomorrow, and I have my Wandsworth property meet tomorrow as well. So one in the morning, one in the evening, and of course, I'm working on my summit right now as well. That's on the 20th of January. So you've been to my summits before. You were at the holiday in Camden when Tim spoke,
That's
your
right.
your partner. So that was last year. Did you get any value out of being there as an attendee with Tim last year?
Yeah, that was brilliant. Well, that's a great thing about yourself, Brandon, is you always attract great speakers to your events. But not only great speakers, but more importantly, a great crowd. So not only you gain from the speakers, but the networking is a critical part. And I hope there's plenty of time. You allocate plenty of time, for people to discuss during the lunch break and the tea breaks and everything. That's a great thing. And for me, that's the best value. Connecting with people. That's how our business is about. From people that bring deals to us, people that invest into our deals, or whatever they're builders or QA, or everybody within our business is people that we've met through networking events. So brilliant.
Thierry, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening at Wandsworth. So for the listeners out there, just don't want you to travel to Wandsworth if you're listening after the 10th. So it's on the 10th of January. Well, you can travel to Wandsworth, but the time you can see Thierry is on the 10th of January. He's joining an interesting panel with the likes of Mafus Rahman from Ronald Fletcher Baker Solicitors, Augusta Oyunke Ilumia, who's partner at Foster de Novo, property finance specialist. You've got the likes of Rob Wilkinson from Crowd With Us, co-founder, and Alan Frost from Simplified Property. So, and it's chaired by Nicholas Marshall, who's a local investor. Had a birthday, quite a big birthday recently. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Thierry, and look forward to seeing our listeners as well, whether tomorrow or possibly at the National Development Summit, which is later this month on the 20th of January. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brandon.
Thank you.